All right, so here we are, Team Huddle. We are 7 or 8 weeks into the 90-day game plan. I didn't get the exact stat. I forgot to look at my calendar. But where that puts us is almost exactly halfway through, a little over halfway through the corporate 90-day game plan. And this is really, if you look at this call, right, this is what is predictable. And I am taking a stand, Elliot and I, that we are so over predictable results. Anyone else with me? We are out to create a massive shift and have what I posted in the Facebook group, have the rest of this year be the best of our year. Who else is on board to have the rest of your year be the best of your year?
Woo! Oh,
yeah, right?
Let's go.
That all sounds great, and we can get all hyped up, just like coming out of celebration, like, yeah, let's do it. But what is going to prevent this group from going from, we started with about 30 people, now, we're down to 10, down to 5 by the end of the year? What is the staying power between those who finish a 90-day game plan strong and those who just life gets in the way, right? And we all have life going on, so we can all understand, so easy for that to happen. And there's a lot of people who communicate, they let us know that they're going to watch these calls later, but there's also a lot of people who have completely disconnected from what they promised themselves coming out of celebration at the beginning of this 90-day game plan. So Elliot and I wanted to do a touch base. This is the middle, this is halftime, right? So this is our team huddle, and it is halftime. And we are in the locker room, and we are putting together a strategy to finish this game plan strong. So what we're going to need from all of you who are on this call, we're going to generate enough enthusiasm, enough passion, enough belief between the 10 of us on the call for every single person who isn't on the call physically with us. They're going to be able to feel our passion, our commitment, and it's going to ripple into the rest of the team and set the tone for the rest of this year. Sound good?
Let's try to build that.
Yep.
Love it.
Awesome. And welcome if you're just joining us, guys. Great to have you on. So to give you a little bit of context, what we're looking at, a lot of you we may have had individual conversations with, but we are looking at setting some goals for rank advancing people the first week of November. So if you haven't already had a conversation about that, you will be work with the person that you are being mentored by. But the reason being, for those of you who've been around the team for any length of time, the most fun we have is when we're working together as a team toward goals, toward rank advancing together. So all of this is really just a check-in to see how we're doing. Are we set up to have that success? Because Isagenix has already provided everything that we need. The 90-day game plan book is our roadmap. The Freemans have done a phenomenal job driving home the basics, right? ABC, 1, 2, 3. Are you using the products? Are you sharing them? So we know all of that. There's literally nothing else there that we need to share and need to teach you. And yet, it's easy for all of us to get off track at one point or another. So this is a half, if we think of this as halftime in the game, this is our check-in. See where maybe, I hope each and every one of you will come out of this call tonight with 1 or 2 tweaks where you see maybe there's a blind spot that you've been missing in how you're approaching your 90-day game plan, where regardless of what happened in the first half of the game, you're set up to rock out the second half of the game. Well, anything you want to say on that? And then we'll dive into our agenda.
No, I love your analogy of the halftime of sports. I just love sports. And, I've been part of lots of teams where, maybe you had a great first half. Maybe, you came out and your shot's on and everything's clicking and you feel great. And maybe you came out sluggish, energy was off and things weren't going the right way. And I just love that half point check in with yourself, align your energy with what your goals are, drink some Gatorade, drink some Replenish, you're right, take an e-shot and get back out there and keep fighting because really all this business, the true success in this business is showing up with grit, being willing to get in the trenches, to power through when things aren't going your way, to keep that momentum up when things are going your way, to elevate others. You know, what makes a great player isn't how great they are, but how great they make the people around them. So the fact that you're plugged into this team call, we are generating energy. We are generating greatness, not only from within ourselves, it starts there, but with everybody else. And so we're going to elevate each other. We're going to link arms. We're going to make each other better. We're going to check in. And that's so this is our halftime pep talk. And we're fired up. This second half is going to be great. And, so just keep that in mind, that we're all in this together. Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, so I want to create a context first and highlight. I really want to get the energy elevated to the point where we can open up to something new. So I would love to hear a couple of shares. What is something you have done really well? I really want you to acknowledge what's something you have done well, a win you've had in the first half of this 90-day game plan. And then what are you committed to producing as far as results in the second half? Like, what is your vision for the second half, and what have you done really, really well that you're going to build upon? 2 people share. And not all at once. Have you reached out to someone you were afraid to reach out to? Have you
I'll go.
more conversations? Go ahead, Drew. Thanks.
So what have I done well? So the 4 people that I have brought in this 90 days, I have been extremely consistent with checking in with them every single day, doing follow-up calls once a week, just being with them every single step of the way, not just my typical was get them signed on, follow up with them for the first week, and then kind of, I would forget about them, or I would just kind of let go or whatever. So I've done really well with that. And then what was the second part? What am I committed to bringing?
Yeah, what your, if there is a goal you have that you want to reach, or a target you're setting for the end of the 90-day game plan, what's going to keep you in the game? What goal?
What's game? I mean, right now I'm so on fire. I just had a conversation with Rose, and she has lost 10 inches off of her waist since she started 3 weeks ago, and she feels hot as a woman, and that just drives me. Like, that's awesome. So my goal is to help 15 people do exactly what she has done by the end of this next 90 days.
There's nothing that brings us back to why we're doing this in the first place than when we get those calls and text messages and voicemails. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Drew. Okay, one more person. What have you done well, and what are you setting for your intention? Yes, Brad.
With a little bit of encouragement from Elliot, he started just telling me, hey, just reach out to 3 people right now. Don't overthink it. Just go out and do it. And through that, I actually was able to reach out to a friend of mine, and I honestly thought, hey, if nothing else, she's already really successful. Maybe I can get some referrals. But she just said, hey, I'm ready to hop on right now. And she's already down, I think, 10 pounds. And she was formerly with another company. And she let me know that she no longer is ordering anything from them, canceling the membership, and just loves the way she feels. So for me, that was a huge win. And really what I'm excited about now is just starting to get back on track, which is taking the action steps. I love goals that have a result, but we're not always in control of those results. So, Lindsay and I, we've talked about this. It's about, setting the goal for taking the action, not the results. So, am I reaching out to 3 people, new people every day, and just sharing what I'm excited about? Am I showing 3 people love? And just kind of sticking to the basics and really just committing to those things.
Yep, love that. Awesome. Okay, so what we want to do tonight, is just a high-level touch point. Again, and all of this is an opportunity for each of us, Elliot and I included, to take an honest look with no judgment. How well am I doing in this area. So for each of these areas we're going to go over, whether you're brand new, just started, starting from square one, there's not a lot of history there, or if you're like us, you've been building a business for a while, this is your second, third, fourth 90-day game plan. I just really want you to be able to identify what's your access to having the rest of this year be the best of your year. Okay, so for each of these areas we're going to go through and touch on, just give yourself a little rating, maybe 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you're like rock solid every single day, and then 1 being, that's totally non-existent. And we're not looking for what's wrong, we're looking for where is there an opportunity. And I'll share along the way just some really cool insights I've had that have really taken my results up to the next level during this 90-day game plan. Just total blind spots that it was by going through this exercise that I really identified for myself. So the first one that we're going to dig into is, we're not going to talk so much about belief. We talk in Isogenics a lot about belief, but specifically about your mindset and how you're speaking about your business. So this is a different way of looking at it. So this is where I just want you to, again, rate yourself. Have you been speaking life into your business, into your team, or have you been speaking the opposite of life, which is death? Now, of course, no one is going to, we're not putting out hexes on our team members, but this is how this can creep in and start to become like cancer in our businesses. I'm only cycling 2 times. I've only enrolled 1 person. I haven't heard back from so-and-so. They must hate me and hate my guts and think I'm stupid. I've never thought that before. What are some other ways, gossiping about your upline, your downline, a team member, focusing on what's not happening, who's not returning your calls, who hasn't gotten back to you. It, like, even just saying it, don't you just feel like your energy kind of like, whoa? And it can be such a slippery slope to allow this language and these thoughts to start to enter in, and where on the outside, and we might show up on these calls and we're like, yeah, I'm all ready to go. But as soon as we hop off, it's, well, this person isn't doing that. I didn't like Elliot's beard tonight, so my business isn't going to be successful. I don't think Lindsay knows what she's talking about, blah, blah, blah. So we can say one thing in one moment, this is our goal, we're going to reach this goal in our business, and in the next, send counterintuitive messages into the world, into the universe, which completely shut down any forward progress we were going to make. Does that make sense? Everyone clear on that? And has everyone given themselves a rating in that area? So again, 10 means you have no room for improvement. 1 means a lot of room for improvement, and anywhere in between. So where has your mindset and your language been around your business? And if there's a question, feel free to jump in and ask that too. Did anyone see something in there as an opportunity that you want to share? And we'll take shares at the end as well. Oh, Brad always loves Elliot's beard. He never speaks badly about it. Okay, so that can also...
Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, something I heard in your sharing that I didn't really realize I was doing until you said it was like focusing on... I have been focusing on what has not been happening, or results that haven't got produced, or people who haven't gotten back to me. And I can totally see how that's been in my space, and actually, I've allowed that to stop me from being in action. So that definitely hit me, right in the forefront of my mind when you said that, and I didn't even realize that I was actually doing that.
Thank you so much for sharing. And, just in total transparency, every single one of these was an eye-opener for Elliot and I, and we're sharing them because they were total blind spots for us too. And, one way that manifests, and Michael, you hit it on the nose, is, the easiest way is to start focusing on what's not happening rather than focusing on what's thriving. focus on, rows, beautiful rows, and 10 inches off of her midsection in the first 3 weeks. It's like she's a whole new woman, right? So the other way that I just forgot to mention that it shows up for me sometimes is, why isn't this person doing XYZ? Why aren't they doing what I want? Why aren't they going consultant? Why aren't they doing what they said they would do? Focusing on, again, what's not happening. So I think you guys got that. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is, are you in alignment with what you're offering people? So this can go for both the product and the business. Elliot, do you want to touch on this one?
Yeah. So, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great. So, I mean, just taking a look at, when you're up to something, right? Always being up to something, and the energy that you can bring into, I keep getting calls. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. We don't hear an
great.
interruption when you get the call.
So, just stagnant energy, right? If you're not holding yourself accountable to being in an isobody, to working out, to developing yourself, you're not going to bring that same energy with your requests of people. If you're not being what you want people to be in their life, then they can feel that. They can feel that when you're sharing what you're up to. They can feel that when you're sharing about an isobody challenge. They can feel that energy. So, one thing that Lindsay and I have committed to the past 90 days is just being up to the isobody challenge, taking on, having meditation time. And it has been such a huge game changer with how I've been sharing. Full transparency, I feel so much more alive. I feel so much more authentic when I'm sharing about this opportunity, when I'm coming from a place of being that energy that I'm trying to attract, and who I'm reaching out to people who are intimidating in nature because I have a lot of respect for them. And when I'm up to something myself, the energy that comes with sharing this gift is unparalleled when you yourself are up to something. So we just wanted to just throw that out there, just to hold yourself accountable to, being the best version of you that you can be, and loving on yourself through working out, through meditation, through developing yourself. That has been so key for Lindsay and I when we've been sharing, and just the momentum in our business. So that's really what I wanted to touch on.
Yeah, and I love that. So again, if we're looking at all of this not from the standpoint that like something's wrong, I haven't been doing something. This is all a conversation for us to together, including Elliot and I, look, where is the opportunity? So like something for us, it takes something 6 years in on Isogenics to continue to elevate our game and keep us connected and excited about a new product experience. So how that can look all sorts of different ways. Upping my game in the gym, starting a new workout plan. Yes, always being in the Isobody challenge. But if, and we're all leaders on this call, if you're feeling just a little uninspired in your health and fitness game, where can you step it up? I love Elliot mentioned, one of the things totally outside of what our norm that we've been taking on is meditation. Creating a new health and wellness story. So keeping it fresh and new, regardless of how long we've been using Isogenics, using the products. And then, really the same goes for business activity, right? So when we're sharing about the business, it's not so much, we don't have to have these phenomenal business results to give us the permission to share. You don't have to earn that credibility. But are you connected to where you're going with this? That's what people want to hear. They want to hear your vision. So again, this is all like just fine tuning what I'm sure we're already doing and looking for the opportunity to take it to the next level in the second half of the 90-day game plan. So go ahead, if you haven't given yourself a quick score on we're just calling this alignment. Alignment with what you're sharing with others. Are you living that daily for yourself? And if you thought of a note of how you can take that to the next level, just go ahead and jot that down for yourself so you have it. And then we'll ask for people to share about these next couple at the end. So just 1 to 10, How aligned are you on your product journey, your vision for the business? Okay, so this next one and the third and final one, and then we've got just like some other tips that we've been seeing and coaching others around. So the third and final area to just take a look at for yourself is how much are you treating this like a business? Meaning, and here's just, again, some areas to look at. So if you're doing all of these things, you might rate yourself a 10. If you see one or two of these, you're like, oh, okay, I haven't been doing that daily. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Are you looking at your back office daily? Now, when you're very brand new, I remember I never logged into my back office every day. There was really not much to see. A couple of things you can be doing if you're brand new, maybe you commit that 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you're going to go in the back office and start to search under a new section you haven't really researched before and learn something new. You know, there's tutorials, there's resources. Get acquainted with your back office site and start to visualize it. Start to visualize yourself opening that up. Do you envision that every time when you open it up, you see, 10 cycles a week or 20 cycles a week? Are you forward thinking and speaking about where you're going in your business? That's another way, when you visualize yourself opening up the back office, your team is thriving, people are rank advancing, right? So kind of under the business activities, are you doing that? Do you have a game plan mapped out for reaching whatever goal it is? So if you haven't yet set your goal for, the first week of November, when as a team, we're really going to be looking to rank advance people, then first thing, of course, is to, set that goal. And just like Brad mentioned before, it's great to have a couple different facets to that. Yes, you want to have, say your goal is to reach that 5-cycle bonus, one of those initial benchmarks, or maybe it's to become a consultant, share, bless your first 2 people. You want to then work with your mentor to lay out the numbers, how many, if your end goal is to have 2 people say yes to, giving the products a try, you want to know on average, how many people would you have to share with? How many people would you have to have look at a tool? In order to have, say, 10 people look at a tool, then how many appointments or initial messages would you have to send out? Right? So you want to work backward so that you have a solid number to work with. And this is the other part of treating this like a business. Are you tracking your numbers? Do you know how many new conversations you generated last week? I track this in 2 different ways. There's no right or wrong way to do this. In fact, our 90-day game plan book has a phenomenal tracking sheet with some suggestions of what to be tracking. But again, if I'm treating life like a business, I want to know what is my conversion rate. For every 10 Facebook messages I send out to connect with people, how many of those turn into an isogenics conversation? And of those that I have the isogenics conversation, meaning they look at a video or we hop on a phone call, how many of those then are turning into people saying yes, yes to their health, yes to the system? Because this is something I was not doing consistently until a year ago. A year ago in August, I started tracking. I have exact numbers of everyone I've talked to, how many times I followed up with them, notes on what their goals are. So when I go back and follow up in 6 months, I can say, hey, I know you were really looking for more energy. How is that going for you? I know it wasn't the right timing, but are you open to having another look at isogenics? So I have detailed notes when I last followed up with them. And let me tell you, this has been a game changer, because whenever things seem like they're not moving forward in our business, I can go back the first place I look, rather than having, going to the fridge and pulling out a half gallon of ice cream and having a pity party that I'm not good at this. Okay, I've never really done that, but making up a really thick chocolate shake and pretending it's ice cream. But I would normally tend to turn that really personal, like there's something wrong with me, I'm not doing something. Instead, I can see the numbers and I can see that my results have been perfectly consistent with the number of conversations I've had. It takes the emotion, it takes me out of it. So when you track your numbers, how many conversations you're having, it's so much less likely and less tempting to make it a personal thing that people aren't enrolling. It's just a factor of numbers. Okay. So that's the other thing. And then, along with setting a goal for yourself for this next, the rest of the year, the other thing I really encourage you to do is set a goal based on what is the skill in your business, in this business, that you are out to master. What skill are you out to take your effectiveness to the next level? So something totally unrelated to results, but for example, are you committed to mastering generating conversations with people when you're out and about in life? Total strangers, connecting with them. Maybe that's the thing you're out to master. Are you out to master doing just the most effective three-way calls, setting up three-way calls? Are you out to master having people take a look at information? It could be anything. But what I want you to do is I want you to have a goal that is setting you up for success for the long run. So often it can be easy to get focused on, well, I just need to get one more. I need to enroll one more person, double PIB. And we forget what this is all about. We forget that it's about helping people to have the kind of results like Drew was sharing earlier and like most of us have probably had. So in treating it like a business, it's that fine balance between, yes, you need to know your numbers and know that it is, at the end of the day, a numbers game. The more people that we share this message with and the more we follow up with them, the more likely we'll catch them during a time where they're open and they're looking for a solution that we have. And then making sure that you are, it's like walking in the doors to your business, right? Opening up your back office on a daily basis with the intention to learn something or to visualize the team that you're building, okay? So I want to just circle back on those last two. So we talked about, the alignment, either in our product journey or our business journey, and then treating it like a business. So these are all things that, again, outside of what the 90-day game plan book already gives us, where I would love to hear one or two people share. I saw room for improvement for myself in all of the categories. What did you see for yourself? What's something that you identified maybe you could put in place that are going to up your results even more in the next couple of weeks? Someone want to share? Yeah, Kylie.
Hi, everybody. So what I did really good in the last few weeks is I generated a lot of momentum for the first time, and I was super excited about it. But I could relate with every single one of those categories that you listed, Lindsay, especially the one where I've been stuck on nobody's returning my follow-up appointments, like nobody's showing up. I'm not any good at this, and I've been so hung up on that there's no room for anything else. And it's actually like I've been in a pretty bad place in my business and just kind of discouraged and frustrated over it. So I see an opportunity for growth in that area for myself because it doesn't feel good. You always say like going slow is painful, and I got the momentum. It was exciting, it was fun, and then it just dropped and I just sat in it, and it has been painful. So I see an opportunity for growth in my business and in myself to just improve. But that's all I have.
You are so awesome. No, and I think everyone can relate to that feeling. And yeah, Dawn, you too? Yeah. It could be one of two things. I know at times I've had momentum, and it's almost like we hit like an upper limit of how good we're willing to let this go, and we put a cap on it. And then in other times, it really is just a season. I will go through sometimes, 4 or 5 weeks where I don't have anyone new joining, but I'm developing team members. So it's that fine balance. And if we're looking at it from the 90,000 foot view of your lifespan with Isogenics, you're just going to change so many lives. And so thank you for sharing that, because I know that related to where a lot of people can feel at times. Okay, one more person. Again, this is all about opportunity. This is our chance in the halftime huddle to up our game in the rest of the 90-day game plan. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing for yourself? Kathy?
Well, one thing that I didn't realize when you were saying, how do you speak about your business? I speak about it really well when I'm talking to someone else. I don't always speak really well about it when I'm talking to myself. Like, oh, I only did cycle 2 times, or oh, I only did do this, or oh, I didn't do that. And yeah, my language needs to improve a lot.
Well, it's just an opportunity, right?
Exactly.
It's not. There's nothing wrong in a sense. That's a very human reaction, right?
Yeah.
And yet, it can be a cap if we're not careful. So one of the things that I'll share. So when I catch myself getting into the only mode, one thing I've been having a lot of fun doing is finding any little thing to express gratitude for. So I will pick up the phone. I've been like voice texting people in the team, people who aren't even in my team, but maybe there's just someone who is on my heart, and making a point to express gratitude for every one cycle, for every one order, for every person who said yes before, and even if they're not ordering, just taking a moment and sending them love. Just to turn around some of that energy for myself. Yeah. Awesome, Kathy. You rock. Okay, anyone else have a burning thing they want to share that they noticed? Elliot, anything from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in and just thank Kylie and Kathy just for what they shared. And I think that's the most common pitfall of being human. This is like, we're developing a level of consciousness in ourselves that has been basically conditioned a certain way your entire life, and we're trying to break that habit, right? We're trying to break the world's habit of belief in people, what they think is possible for themselves, a future that was not even in the realm of possibilities for them. We're bringing that into their realm and seeing that for them and holding that for their space. So it's a whole nother level of discipline, and when you're out and we're generating, it can be a challenge. And the fun thing is like, this is a new discipline. It's a new way of being that we get to develop and work on every single day. And just like Lindsay said, the biggest way that you can just make yourself, all that guilt, all that, whatever you're feeling in a non-positive way, just take it back to the numbers. Because when you're feeling like that, you're probably not in action. You're probably making yourself feeling wrong because no one's enrolling, no one's coming into your business, and you're putting all this pressure on yourself when really you're not even reaching out, right? So don't do the blame game. Don't shame yourself. Just love yourself. Be grateful for the opportunity you have. Be grateful for who you are. And just like Lindsay said, I mean, we always go back to that gratitude practice because there's no space for shame or feeling bad or negative energy when you're grateful for something. So that's just something I think so real, and that is probably on so many people's hearts that haven't shared. And that's why we plug into this. It's just another level of a mindful gratitude that we're going to live our lives in a space of gratitude and lifting up others and believing in ourselves and believing in other people in a way that they're not capable of believing in themselves yet. And that's what we do. And that's what I get up in the morning for, is like, man, I get to pour belief in somebody, help them see a new vision that they never saw for themselves. And that's like the most rewarding thing ever, is just stay present to that and take the action. And all those negative feelings will go away when you're in that space of gratitude and taking action.
Yeah, those are definitely the fastest way to neutralize any of the crazy talk that starts to go on. I can't remember where I heard this, in what course or where I was, but it said, if you're up here, this is a bad neighborhood. You want to stay out. It's like the dark alley, suspicious characters. That voice you're hearing is not God talking. So, so then to wrap up, I wanted to, again, this is our team huddle. I wanted to shine some light on a few conversations I've been having with team members. Again, we're just looking at the fine tuning to give everyone one or two things to walk away from this call and implement immediately and start shifting results in your business. So one of the things, who has ever had that feeling, I've talked to everyone, I don't know who to talk to, I've run out of people. Have you hit that point yet? Maybe some, yes. I know there's some people who are newer, right? So Rory's like, yeah, no, I have lots of people I can talk to. So something that we've done, so again, just again, take into consideration, some of us are, a few years into this journey. I've approached this 90-day game plan with the mindset, the context we created, that this is the next chapter. What if I were starting my business brand new, fresh today? And in doing so, one of the things I committed to do was not take for granted that anyone knows what I do, including my own parents, my own siblings. They may order product, but if someone isn't, connected to, they don't really know what we do, and especially if I enrolled them years ago, I was a completely different person. Our mission was completely different. So it's opened up this whole new contact list, including people we've previously enrolled that, are now coming back on board. An opportunity for us to, and it's very, very simple how I'm reaching out to these people. A lot of the conversations have just gone like this. Hey, I don't think I have fully explained what it is that we're up to, our vision with what we're creating in Isogenics. Do you have 10 minutes? I would love to share with you. And for some people, I'll say, that way you'll know if there's someone you could refer to me. Or with others, it's just, really straightforward that, hey, I've been stingy with you. I know of this thing that has completely blessed our life. It's blessed our finances. And I've never shared it with you. Like, I'm kind of a jerk, right? So for some people, if you realize there are people in your life, I don't like the people on our chicken list that we create, like they're somehow on a pedestal. They're like, we're afraid to approach them. No, I call that my stingy list, especially if I know they could be really great at this, or they have it just a need for the product. They deserve it. I call those people first and I tell them, look, I have been stingy. I have not shared this with you. Can we connect for 10 minutes? And sometimes it turns into asking for a referral. Other times it's just thanking them for taking a look. And then it clears that energy out of my space for new people to show up. And that's the biggest lesson I'm learning, is that if I sit on, let's say, and give me just like a show of hands, if there's someone on your list that you've been thinking about contacting for more than a week, like you think about them, you're like, no, maybe next week I'll call them. Okay, so what I've started to do is just freaking, contact those people. And what's beautiful is, so many of them are open to actually having a conversation. I made it way more dramatic in my mind. But the other thing is, it clears space. Whether or not they even say yes to taking a look, it's clearing space for new, unexpected people, some total strangers to show up. So think about it this way. If a name is put on your heart, you see that this could be, a fit for someone, and we hold that energy, it just becomes stagnant. Energy and love, which is all that this is, right? We're just sharing love. We're sharing a gift. If we're holding on to that, it becomes stagnant. So think of it, just, hopefully that'll help you start to reach out and just get some of these conversations flowing. Think about, like, you're just creating stagnant energy in your business by holding on to those, names, those people you could bless. And, you might find your next rock star on the other side of that conversation, and it could be a total surprise. So hopefully, again, write a note to yourself right now. Think of the, 3 to 5 names, whoever you're sitting on, right? You've been thinking about contacting them for a week or more. Write down those names right now and just commit to yourself. You don't have to commit this to me, but you deserve to start to get that energy flowing again. So jot down those names if you have them. You can call it your stingy list, right? And then the last thing, so in reaching out and contacting people, this is just another little fine-tuning tip that I've been going over with some of my newer team members. And I think it can dramatically change the results that you're getting, the number of people actually answering your messages, your texts, just by a simple change in your verbiage. So how I notice a lot of people, and I started off communicating this way too, is in a more indirect manner. So what do I mean by indirect? So you might be saying, hey, Jocelyn and Aaron have been just like totally leading the charge, sharing the IsaBody Challenge. I'm going to do that. I'm going to invite people to the IsaBody Challenge. What we say to people is, I'm so excited. Like, we're doing this challenge. It's going to be awesome. let me know if you want to join. Let me know if you want more information. Kind of lets them off the hook. So I just want you to notice, so saying it that way versus, hey, we're doing the 16-week challenge, focuses on nutrition. Does this sound like something you would be interested in? I'm asking a direct question that in our minds, the brain wants to fill in a gap when it's asked a question. So I notice I get more responses, even if the response is no, I get more responses if I'm asking a direct question. So just go back through, maybe if you've been sending Facebook messages or text messages, just evaluate yourself, look at your language. Are you doing more of a softball approach, if you will, kind of like afraid to just take the reins and get a no, and saying like, hey, let me know if you're interested, but it's okay if you're not. Oh God, don't say no. Versus, just being like, hey, we're super excited about this. Does this sound like something you'd want to learn about? It still is waiting for their permission before I give the information. I'm not just bombarding them and saying, you have to look at this, you're going to love it. I'm still asking for permission by that step of saying, hey, would you be open? Is this something you'd be interested in? I'm getting their buy-in. However, I'm just going for it. So tell me just on those last couple of points, are you starting to see some areas you could just elevate your performance a teeny bit? Anyone notice that maybe they've been communicating a little bit indirectly? Anything like that? Dawn, yeah?
Yeah, Lindsay, what was you were saying? I'm so excited about our 6 weeks challenge focused on nutrition and.
Yeah, so a lot of times, and I just stole this right from Jocelyn, hey, we're doing the 16-week challenge focusing on nutrition. Sometimes I will say, we have a private Facebook community. Sometimes I'll build the value a little bit, but I keep it very, very short.
Okay. Love it.
And then, let's just say, like, if we're going to get really bold and just go right in for the person who we know could be amazing at this. I sent one message out this week, someone who's practically a stranger, right? But just very much has the attributes I'm looking for. And I just sent a message. I acknowledged her. I said, you would be really great at what I do. Would you be open to grabbing coffee so we can chat about it? So again, directly asking for what I want, and those keywords, would you be open? So, that's the easiest way to feel like you're giving them permission rather than, bombarding them with information or feeling like you're selling something. Asking that question, would you be open, or does this sound like something you'd be interested in, offers them that permission. Then they're asking you to send them information. Yeah, Shelly, you had your hand up?
Yeah, thanks. So I have actually done that and been, pretty direct. But what do you do when nobody answers you?
So is that in a text message, for example?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, and I know, so, you and I are working together. So I know in some of them we talked about breaking it up, right? Not sending so much information in one text, right? So you're talking about, this is one where you sent, an example might help, but where you sent something just saying, would you be open to taking a look?
Yes.
Yeah, they may just.
That one I was quite long, that you saw, but some of them are just, very short and to the point, and, from people that I haven't talked to in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're not answering because I haven't talked to them in a while. I mean.
Or who knows? I mean, how many people have you ever received a text and you had the best intention of answering back? And then you're probably thinking of it right now, like, oh, shoot, I never texted Aunt Sally back, right? I do it all the time. So we literally cannot make it. Yes,
Lynn?
a second. Yeah, hold on one sec. We can't make it personal, right? They may not be interested, or they may be super busy, right?
So do I just assume that maybe they didn't have time to answer, and then how do I follow up with that?
So do I
just let it go, or do I?
If there's someone you really do see this for example, if they didn't answer your text, pick up the phone and call them. If you have their phone number to text them, pick up the phone and call. Even if you just leave a voice message, there's something about being able to hear the enthusiasm, the passion in someone's voice. To say, hey, I sent you a text, would really just love to share what we're up to, and hear how you've been doing. And, sometimes people will come back and say, well, gosh, I totally forgot to answer you. Or they still may not answer back. That happens all the time. Jocelyn, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and your point of calling is really great, but I was also going to just say, I remember that in my first year, there were some people that I think it really took having them see me keep going. That there was this trust building phase, because in today's world, there are people starting network marketing companies all the time. It's more and more common. And so by sticking with it, by being someone that they see, in a year still doing it. And that's just that trust factor, seeing that consistency. There are people that didn't respond to me in the beginning who respond to me now because they've seen me being consistent.
That's so good. And you posted that in the Facebook group today as well. And I loved that because it absolutely is the truth. And Jocelyn, you guys probably get this. I mean, just the other day I had someone saying, oh, are you still doing that Isogenics thing? I said, my full-time business? Yeah. But it reminded me, just to your point, Joss, that there are so many people who start and then stop before, you can really blink. So the longevity will pay off for sure. Did that help, Shelly?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're awesome. Okay, we have, we do have about 10 extra minutes for, I can stay on for questions, but I do want to just one final thing, and this could even just tie in with treating it as a business. The question to ask yourself, and just jot this at the bottom of your notes, is what is the next event I am going to? And just simply because events, we all know events are what build this business. They build your belief. They have you so much more connected to what it is that you're sharing. So a great place to find out what's available in your area is isogenicsevents.com. But the other thing is, if you, like I have a gal who is going to miss the Super Saturday we have this weekend. She's out of town. So we are creating a launch party at her house. So an event she can invite people to. You could create an online launch party. Get with other members of the Stronger Together community, people maybe who have similar stories or who just really love their energy. Create an online launch party. Use Zoom. There are so many tools available to us. So I want you to just really ask yourself, like when was the last time I hosted a launch party or invited someone to an event as my guest? And really look at upping your game. That's always an area for me. I can be upping my game as well. So with that, I will open it up for questions, or if you just want to share a takeaway from tonight. Yes, Dawn. Oh, you're muted.
I have a question about the online lunch party. I've never been invited to one. I would love to see an example of one to copy, like what works, what doesn't. Are there any examples out there?
I know I had recorded one that Elliot and I did, and I can send that to you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yep. And the fun thing is you can really create it however you want. We've done a couple with a couple of moms in the team where we did it specifically on the topic of healthy moms and families. I can send you that link as well. We just keep them short, 20, 25 minutes, sharing stories and just a very high level, brief overview of the products and the residual income opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks. I would love, if you have it recorded, that would be great. I'd love that.
I'm making myself a note right now.
Thanks.
I would like that as well, please.
I would too.
Okay. Got it.
Love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone do like Transformation Tuesday or Wellness Wednesday, like launch parties at their house every single week? Like, does anyone do that?
We had been in Phoenix, a lot of you knew, we had been doing a group one on a weekly basis, which, just became a big commitment to continue with. So we've, restructured that. But I've never done it weekly at my house. I know Lisa has done some of that. I've done them when we first started. We had them, every couple of weeks, maybe every 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
But we use more time to build up to it. So it can work both ways. If you commit to having it and you have, a home that's conducive to it, absolutely can work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And it doesn't hurt to try it out, right? Any other final questions? And Jocelyn did mention this too. This is great. There is a team that is hosting larger online launch parties on Saturdays. I think she said at 9 a.m. I think that's right. That we can get the information for, and we're invited to plug into those if we would like to. Cool. So everyone has at least one thing that you can elevate your game, take it to the next level, an opportunity you saw tonight, either in your language, your mindset. Awesome. Cool. Elliot, anything, final words?
No, I just want to thank everyone for hopping on, and I guess my only thing is just believe in yourself, just believe that the next 45 days of this can be either on par from the things that you're already accomplishing or completely different from the results that you want to get. I mean, you really, in 45 days, if you wake up and you go for a walk every day, you can change your whole energy every single day. You can start new. I've been a part of games down 30 points, coming back and winning in the second half. I've done it before. I've been, part of those teams where you've been up 30 points and you go out and you lose in the second half. So just be so grateful I'm just so grateful for this team we have. I'm so grateful for you. I believe in you. Lindsay believes in you. We'll do anything to help you succeed. And I love just focusing on those 5 things, just a few things that you can improve in this next 45 days. And just keep it simple. Reach out to as many people as possible. Don't make it about yourself. And, light it up. Just believe in yourself and light it up. Let's go.
All right. Well, we love you guys, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks,
Love
guys.
you too. Thank you.